Hello, my name is Hayden, and today we are going to speedrun how to make a Counterstrike Source animation on a default model, and generally going over how Counterstrike Source modding works. Okay, so some of the things that I'm going to be using that you need to follow along here. First, you need Counterstrike Source, you need Blender, and you need Blender with Source Tools. Source Tools. Look up Blender Source Tools, it'll look like this, or you can, and it should be labeled within Blender Source Tools from the valvesoftware.com thingamajiggy. Next up, I use Visual Studio Code. I think that's what it's called. Something like that. The blue one with the thingy. And it uses source file preview add-on thingamajiggy. And there's also a spreadsheet here that'll link. We'll go over that in a second here. Okay, so what crowbar? You need crowbar. I'll link this. What you want to do to find models is go to the Unpack tab here. Go to your Counterstrike Source, cstrike. Go all the way down. You're gonna find this cool file called cstrike_pack_dir for directory. Source games have directories and things like that. To find models, it's going to be under the Models tab. Find guns, they're going to be under Weapons. And then there's going to be a bunch of shit here. Ones that prefix in V are going to be standing for View Model. That is the slightly more edited, detailed versions. And then there's W, which stands for Worlds. We want V. And today we are going to be doing the 5.7 because I've already made animations for it, and it's easier to show you things that I've already made stuff for. So we are going to take everything here, all of the 5 files that include vpist57. We're going to drag those to your folder for demonstration purposes. This will be the desktop for today. Boom, once you have all of those in here, we can go to decompile. We're going to go and we're going to find the MDL. You need everything else though, because you need the hand reference and the reference. You can't have only the single MDL. So we're going to take this one here, even though those don't show up, and we're going to go and dump these all in the desktop as well. And actually, no, we're going to put a new file in here because we're cool like that. We're going to call this decompile. Boom. Go here, decompile that shit. Crazy. Now we have a file with animations, a QC file, and 2 SMDs. One is 5.7 reference and the other one is hand reference. We don't need this hand reference. I will provide a reference for the rig, but basically what this is a default rest pose version of your hand rig, which you may or may not need depending on how you set your reference up in the QC file. And I'm also over here going to create a new folder called compile. What we're going to do here is we are going to make a duplicate of the QC file here. And for shits and giggles, we're also going to take this file here and we're going to make a duplicate of that. This name is going to be important for when we go into Blender with these source tools options. All right, cool. So we have the MDL, we have the QC here. We can link the QC later when we start compiling things, but let's get this model in Blender. Boom, so we're gonna go to File. With Source Tools installed, I'm not gonna show you how to do that because just Google how to download, implement Source Blender add-ons. Now go to Desktop. Go to Decompile, because that's where we put all of our cool stuff in here. And there's gonna be a few things. You're gonna have your draws or idles, reloads. We don't need these. Technically, all you need to do to bring this in here is either the 5.7 reference or the 5.7 pistol QC. Let's try the QC out. Whoa, crazy. This is insane. This has all the animations with it. Whoa, actually I lied. We don't need that one. We're gonna use the reference one because it doesn't have animations. Also, let's take this here and delete those because God knows what we're dealing with here. All right. Import, SMD, 5.7 reference, kablamo. So we have the armature here and we have the base model here. Delete. Okay. I lied. There is some more tools that we're gonna need, but we can figure that stuff out later. So we're going to go to edit mode, hit all, and we're going to go into the model here, and we're going to center it, and we're going to look at it, and we're going to find all the things that we need from it here. If you x-ray, it looks like we have enough of a mag. We actually have a good amount of the slide here. I'm going to do a cool jump cut to the stuff. Actually, no, I'm not, because yeah. Okay. So actually, if you want the textures, instead of looking at this green motherfucker here, you can go back to the Unpack tool area, and we want to find some textures. Where do we find the textures? Well, this can be materials because it's a material. And then we're going to go down to weapons, which there's totally a weapons folder in here, right? Materials. Hello. Okay, sorry. Materials, models, weapons, V models, and we're gonna find pist 57. Pistol short for pistol. So technically we only need the VTFs here, so we can take this and let's just throw these in the decompile folder, everything else. All right, so I lied. We're also gonna need a VTF edit. It looks like this absolutely smoking redhead. So we're gonna go into open, and we're gonna go to the decompile folder that we made. We're gonna take this one here, and I'm gonna hit Control E to export. And we're gonna export a TGA so we can see it in Blender. And then we're gonna do open, and we're gonna do the rep. And we're gonna hit Control E, and we're gonna save this. Crazy. All right, cool. So now we're gonna go to the material tab of Blender. I hope that you know where that is. And we're gonna go to nodes, and then we're gonna go to images, and then we're gonna do open a file because we made a file for this thing. We're gonna go to desktop. We're gonna go to decompile where TGA is, and we're gonna select our thingy, and then we're gonna go to preview mode. Whoa, crazy! It's a textured gun. I don't know why we decompiled that rough one because we don't need it, but it's basically just go into the specular tint. It doesn't really do much, but I mean, if you want to make it look pretty, but we're not here to make it look pretty. We're here to get the job done today. So. Go back to this thing here, and we're gonna do all the edits that we need to. I've already done the edits in another file, so I'm gonna open that one. We're not gonna save this one because I already made the other one. So I'm gonna go to my CSS modding thingy here where I have all the cool stuff, you know. It's right here. Boom. Here's the model. This is what the model looks like. I think I edited this. I might have not edited this. Who knows? Basically, this is what we need here. Important facts on modeling things. You want to make sure that the material that is on your imported SMD stays the same. PIST_57 needs to stay the same because if you go to your compile here, and under PIST57, there is this cool thing on line 21 that says CD materials, models, weapons, V models, PIST57. That PIST57 is kind of really important for this here. Making sure this naming convention stays the same. You can name it whatever you want, but you want to make sure that when this is being used, it is consistent. So for when doing stuff with default models, please don't change this. Please don't change this. It's fine as is. We're just here to replace things with our own animations. Model edits wise, I basically just flipped it because a lot of the weapons Counterstrike Source are animated on the left-hand side. So you might need to do some little flipping, a little flippy flip here. So we can take this, and then we can do mesh, and we do mirror, and do global X thing. If you mirror it, beware that you are then going to have to go into mesh, normals, and flip the normals because you flip the mesh. I can't give you a better explanation because I don't know how models work. And then you're going to animate it. So just like how the art tutorial tells you to draw the rest of the owl, you're going to have to animate this thing. And I've already done that, so boom. Here is all the cool animations. So here's the draw animation. Because we're going to make this online compatible, you want to make sure that your draws and your animations fit the same length as your QC. Or your QC, the original animations. You want to make sure they fit the same animations length and all that fun stuff. There's this cool spreadsheet that has all of the neat little animations that you have. So the draws, the idles, the reloads, blah, 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 blah. It's all converted for 30 FPS. So you just go to the weapon you want to animate, go to 30 FPS, and look at the numbers. Exhilarating. So what do we do here? So it looks like you've already animated everything, and now this is the time where we make our lives easy. What I'm doing here is I'm going to go to the QC file to kind of get things ready. You're going to have a quick breakdown of the QC file. So you have your model name. This is the name of the MDL here, which is going to match up to this in Blender. See how this is called 57_reference? This is called 57_reference because this file right here is called 57_reference. And hands here, body group, is called hands_reference because this file here is called hands_reference. Surface process default, I don't know what that means. I don't know what this means. I do know that we do not need to include all of this defined bones. So we're gonna delete that because it's a lot to look at and I don't want to look at it right now. So let's just save this. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go to all of our cool sequences here, and then I am going to change the FPS of all of them to 30 because I've animated my animation at 30 frames per second. Kablam, we're golden. All right, now we're going to go into the sequence where it says sequence right here. And I'm going to make sure everything matches up text-wise. So I'm going to go idle. I have an animation called idle. I am going to go to the next one. Shoot 1, shoot 2, shoot empty. I have fire 1. That's not good. I need a fire. I need the that says shoot 1. Kablamo. And for purposes right here, we can make a new one later here. We're gonna call this one shoot 2. No, we're not, because yes, I am actually. Boom, there you go. Shoot 1, shoot 2. And then we have another animation called shoot empty. You know what? Living large. This one's gonna be called shoot_empty, not empty you. Boom, crazy. All right, then we have reload and we have draw. Did I spell reload correct? I did. And then I have draw. I have some other stuff here that is not needed, but it's whatever. We want to make sure that we have all the necessary files because these are going to get turned into SMDs. And then we're going to have this QC read the file names of everything that we're exporting. And it's going to work out seamlessly. Perfect. And we're not going to cry. All right. Boom. So we're going to save this. Next up, time to make life super cool and easy and fun. And we're going to think about rainbows, puppies, and kittens. So this is, you're going to go to scene and you're going to go to this part under here called source engine exports. This is one hell of a plugin that annoys the living shit out of me, but it does what I need to sometimes, so it's okay. All right, so the setups are making our lives nice. We're gonna go to compile here, and we're gonna go hit F2, and I'm gonna Control-C this name here, and I'm gonna go to my subfolder, and I'm gonna call this the subfolder. And then export path, I'm gonna go to desktop, and then go to compile, and I hit accept. Now what I'm gonna do here is I am going to first export the reference. I'm only gonna export the reference of the gun because I've already made a reference for the hands for this rig specifically. You can't just use any Counterstrike Source hands. You have to use the hands that your rig is for. So if you make your own Counterstrike Source rig with your own bones and your own names of the bones, you're gonna have to export your own hands. But I'm gonna give this rig away because I found it, and yeah, I didn't make it, but I found it. So I'm gonna go to rest position because we want a default neutral position of everything here. And then we're gonna go to object mode, and we're gonna select our gun. All right, so here's a thing that has made me lose my mind. But because I've lost my mind too many times now, I'm gonna prevent you from losing your mind. We are going to go under everything here, and we are going to uncheck it all. And then we are going to go up to export, and we're going to hit collection 1. Never mind, we don't want to uncheck everything. We want one thing in here. And that is going to be this, because this is in collection 1. All right. So we're going to hit export, and we're going to do scene export one file. If we go to compile here, this is not correct. Pistol 5.7 here. Export, never mind. Okay, this is what you need. When you're compiling, you're going to need to put this in rest pose. Select your model, Kerblamo, and you're gonna go down to here, 5.7 reference, this collection here. And you're gonna hit export, and you're gonna hit scene export one file. And you go to where you exported that to. Technically, this shouldn't be called collection 1. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the decompile here. And you see how this says 5.7 reference? We're gonna steal that. We're gonna go here, and we're gonna hit this, and we are going to rename that to 5.7 reference, and we are going to bring this back out here, and to make sure we match this file structure. All right, and then I'm gonna steal a reference of the hands that I've already made. So, Kerblamo, from us, and we're gonna take the compiler here, and we are going to do CS source arms underscore defaults, control C and control V here. All right, because this is using a new name that is different from the decompile version of our desktop here. Because this is hands reference, this does not say hands reference. So we want to make sure that this here matches up in the QC file, because the QC file is using the old hand reference called hands reference right here. But because we're smart cookies, we're going to take the new one that we have, and we're going to call this CS source arms default, because that's what our new hands reference file is called. Now we're going to need to export the animations. That's the easier part of this whole thing. That's why we're saving the best parts for last. Just kidding, it doesn't get better. I mean, it is always awesome and cool. All right, so we're gonna go back to our rig, and we're gonna go here, and we're gonna go to pose position where all of our animations are back. All right, cool. So we have all this sweet stuff here, and we're gonna go to scene. We're gonna go to scene, and then we're gonna go to source engine export. And we can keep this up here, but we want the animations. And then we're gonna go down to there, and we're gonna go to suppress. No, we're not. Where are we going? Where are we going? Am I underscoring this one here? Suppress? Okay, yeah, we're gonna hit the Okay, so this is what we're going to do. You're going to go to your rig, and we are going to make sure that this is in pose position. Then we're going to go to scene. We're going to scroll all the way down. And then you're going to go to this cool tab here under Source Engine Exportables, and you're going to find the thing that looks like an SMD, and you're going to click it a bunch. Well, not too much, but enough to where this looks like this here. See how it has all this fun different menus that pop up. When you hit our action looking item here, we're going to go into this tab here. It says current NLA and then action filter. We want to export this whole thing as a batch. So we can go to action filter here and we can type in the asterisk. That now changed actions to 9 because this thing basically says everything in the list or something. I don't know. Someone smart told me this. So they're going to export. We're going to export 9 actions. Now, if we did everything correct, even if there was a warning, who knows what that warning is? We don't really care about it right now. Maybe it'll bite us in the butt later. Maybe not. I don't know. So it looks like this did not listen to us when we made this very specific naming convention. That's okay. We can go back here and under subfolder, we can put this here. And we can export this again. And the one that said anims, we can just delete that. So now we have a bunch of extra stuff in here, ASDF, reload style, poses. Those aren't in there. You can leave them in there because they're not going to get called by the QC file. That's all right. So now we are going to try compiling this. We're going to go here, we're going to go to compile, we're going to go to browse, and then we're going to go to desktop. And we're in the compile section. There is this cool thing of our copied QC file. And we're going to go to browse. And then we're going to go to desktop. And we're going to go to compile. And we're just going to hit OK. Something I remembered. In the QC file, this isn't going to compile. Let's say if we hit compile right now. Boom, got an error. Could not find hands underscore reference. Why is that? Because in our QC file, we didn't change it. Well, we did, but we didn't hit save. So if you try to compile this again, it'll give us an error because I think I know another thing. Error, unknown attachment link. What's that mean? That is this right here, lines 24, 25, attachment. This is trying to find a bone that does not exist in our file because we don't have any bones called v_weapon.57_parent. What we do have is this bone that animated. That's basically the same thing. So this is basically in the QC file is something for effects such as muzzle flashes or bullet casings to attach to. This can technically be any bone in your file, but for sake of simplicity's sake and our sanity, we are going to use the main weapon bone. And in our case, this thing is called CS weapon body. We're going to take this, text here, hit Control-C, and we're going to go to our QC file, and we are going to replace that. Kaboom. And don't forget to save. Now we're going to go back to our compiler, and we're going to hit compile. This compiled everything. Hooray! Awesome! And it's totally going to work out fine. So, how do you see if this works out? You're going to go to Use in View. It's going to take you over to this cool tab right next to Compile. And then you have some options. You have View as Replacement, View, Open Viewer. I like to use View as Replacement because of reasons. Crazy. Okay, we got really lucky here this time. So, you see, we have our hands, and we have our 5-7, and it all works out. And you might be wondering, how do I view this? I lost it. Oh no. Ah! We can go to options and we can view model mode. And then you can right click and you go, and sometimes you lose it again and you can just look at it again. It might be a little close, so you can go over here and you hit view model FOV 75. Crazy. Right now it's playing the idle. Let's try it out. We go to a draw animation. This is awesome. Reload animation. It plays. Nice. Sounds are a little disconnected. That's because we haven't set those up in the QC file where they want to go. So while it's compiled here, we can go to the draw animation. We're going to find the part animation where the slide goes back, which would be frame 6. We're going to go down to our draw animation. There's this cool thing under activity called event 5004 13 11 57 slide pull. This is an event for the sound. This currently plays at frame 13, but we need to play at frame 6, so we're going to take 13 here, and we're going to put 6. And then we're going to get the sounds ready for our reload. We're going to go to the reload here, and we're going to find the frame at which everything happens. So first up, we have magazine out, which is at frame 15. Perfect, we got clip out working just fine. And then clip in. We're going to go over here. Let's just say 52. Boom, there's 52 right here. And then we're going to go slide release, which happens at frame 69. Awesome. All right, cool. Let's fuck this off and let's recompile this bad boy. Boom, compile. Awesome, we didn't fuck it up. Use and view, views replacement. Sequence, reload. Look at us. Awesome possum, easy peasy lemon squeezy. All right, so some issues that might happen if you compile this thing and you don't see the gun or the hands. What might be happening is what you probably have is a fucked up reference. If your reference file is fucked up, it means something within your export isn't working out. It means you didn't follow the steps or I didn't explain them well enough. Or both. So on exporting reference here, you want to make sure that it's in rest pose and you're getting a clean export of just the model. Sometimes you can get duplicate stuff of the hand and the gun, depending upon how you do your export. If it comes in here and your textures look pink and black and checkered, like a missing source texture material, it's probably because the textures and the materials aren't properly lining up in the game, which means one of two things. It means that you messed with the materials on the weapon. So something in here got renamed and this is no longer PIST 57. Or there is something within your VTFs that aren't properly labeled. Or there's possibly something within your VMT that isn't properly labeled. What's a VMT? So if you go back to Unpack, there's this cool thing that we didn't do called PIST 57 VMT. For shits and giggles, I'm going to take this here and I'm going to drag it over into this. A VMT is a little thing for materials, basically call out. We're going to go and we're going to look for this material, Pistol 57, and this is the file path for it. And this is the reference for the other. This is like kind of saying, hey, look for all of these textures here, and some of the more complex VMTs are going to have all sorts of fun stuff about defining and doing cool shader things. So I want to make sure those are lining up. If we're using default models, that shouldn't be happening because we're using all the default VMTs and all that fun stuff here. So now we've compiled it, and you're wondering yourself, Hayden, please stop making this a long drawn out thing. I want to see this thing in game right now. Well, okay, fine. I concede. So now we have this cool thing in our compile folder called models. What is this? This is basically the MDL that we just took out from this thing. So what we can do here is go back to a compile thing here, and we are going to Control C, and then you're going to go to your C Strike folder. And under custom, you're going to make a new file called my custom stuff. You may or may not already have this, I forget, but you can just call it my custom stuff. And then under here, you can paste your file under models. And then we can launch up Counterstrike Source. This may or may not be left-handed because there's a cool script. So we're going to create a server. And I have this cool server called Box. It's secret, don't ask about it. All right, cool, awesome, easy peasy. Now, you can go and buy whatever it is, but I'm a G and I made a thing here. Kablamo! The gun is in game. Oh no, we have no more ammo. What will we ever do? Well, we're gonna cheat. We're going to turn on SV cheats 1. And then we're going to hit this cool thing called Impulse 101. And now we have a bunch of ammo. Crazy. All right, now you're wondering, why the hell is this on the left side when all these other guns are on the right side? Why? What the heck is up? It's because we're silly. And we need to close the game and we need to go to the scripts folder. So if you go to your scripts folder, you probably don't have one. It's because I set mine up. And I can link you to all these cool text things. It's in a Game Banana thingy. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go and find the one called weapon_57. And you're going to see this cool thing in here called build right-handed. Uh-oh, stinky. This is at 0. We want to make sure this is at 1. It's binary. It's either 0 or 1, on or off. Boolean, I think that's what it's called. We're going to hit Control S, and we're going to close that, and then we're going to launch up the game. We're going to create another server, and we're going to start it. And we're going to go over here. Let me out, 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 let me out. Alright, kablamo. Whoa, this is awesome. Who'd ever thought? There you go. Crazy. Now there's some post-match mastering, which might be because of my idle animation or my reload animation has a idle pose that does not work out, or there is some weird stuff with parent constraints happening between the two. That is going to be something for me to figure out and you to figure out in your own animation problems and etc. I hope this tutorial is helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the comments and I can try my best to answer them, and if there's enough, I might make another video. Alright, something I forgot to mention, if you noticed that the muzzle flashes and the bolts are coming off at a little funny angle, it is because the attachments that we mentioned earlier in the file here, under attachment 1 and 2, blah 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 blah, correspond to different attachment points in the game. All right, so 1 is going to be the muzzle flash here, and it looks a little high. And the second one is going to be the casings, and it comes out the red line here, the x-axis. So it can be done by going to translation under these values here, and or rotation. Muzzle flashes, all you really need is rotation here. I believe this goes X, Y, Z. So if we take this here and go to 1, it goes a bit lower. And we might need a bit more height here, so let's just say 1.7. Not too high, let's do 1.5, 1.4. Perfect. All right, cool. So now we have all these values here. We can go to QC string here, highlight that, hit Control C. If you hit Control A in this menu here, you're gonna somehow view all attachments. I don't know why. It's a donut. All right, so then we can go here to scripts and then see how this whole thing here is. We can hit this and we can hit Control V. All right, now we're gonna do the same thing with the other one regarding the rotation. So we can go right here. And then we're gonna go this way. I have no idea what this is. I think it says X, Y, Z rotations, who knows. All right, I think really quickly, if we do this, under 180, you hit 120, it goes a bit higher. Awesome, we don't need that high, so we go 150, perfect, lovely. All right, -30, does this rotate it forward slightly? Yes, it does. That's pretty cool, maybe not that much forward. So let's do 10, 20, 15. And now let's go under model here because I want to do my idle pose and see where this is coming out. Maybe my shoot animation actually, because this is better. All right, so see how far forward it is? We don't need it that far forward. So let's move it back. So we're gonna go here, X, Y, Z. This looks like it's forward a bit, so we can do 1.4. Heck, even 0.4, crazy. You know what, 0.2. You know what? Even 0.0. Look at that lovely attachment point. That's gonna eject casings perfectly. You know what? No, it's not, because it's coming out the wrong end. But you know what? Who cares? If you care, you can change it. I don't care. Boom. Take that there. Control C, and we're going to compile this thing right here. We can close out of the game. We can close out of HLMV. And we're going to go to here, and we are going to go to compile, and we're going to use recompile. Kablamo. And then we're going to go to scripts. Back up. Models. Control C. Control V. Replace. Boom. Crazy. Counterstrike Source. Excuse me. And we're going to go to create server, and we're going to go to a new server here again, and go here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Look at that.